city of Loveland will pay millions to settle a lawsuit with Karen Garner's family after officers forcefully arrested the 73-year-old woman with dementia. We're hearing from the Loveland police chief.
A man from Colorado lost his life on 9/11 fighting for control of Flight 93 before it crashed in southern Pennsylvania. How his friends and family remember him 20 years later.
Plus, between the wildfire smoke and the ozone, air quality along the Front Range is suffering. Our meteorologists are breaking down how you can keep yourself safe and when this air may finally clear. 4 o'clock on 9 News starts now.
A woman is now facing charges of vehicular homicide after police say she hit 2 construction flaggers, injuring one and killing another. In just the last few minutes, we learned the name of the man who was killed, 55-year-old Jose Soteno.
Now, the crash happened yesterday afternoon near 29th and Arkins Court in the city's Rhino neighborhood. Jaleesa Irizarry shows us what we know so far about this.
A quiet construction zone tells a story no road crew wants to hear. When work abruptly stops for all after losing one.
One fatality is way too many, especially when it comes to a construction zone.
Denver Police Department spokesperson Kurt Barnes stressed the importance of construction zone safety one day after a car plowed through a zone and injured one construction flagger and killed another. The driver, reportedly involved, drove off, but the car was later found by Denver police abandoned just a few blocks away. According to a probable cause statement, DPD then found Kathleen Mercier-Segoski in the area, slurring her speech and smelling of alcohol. She's being held for investigation of vehicular homicide. For Traffic Control Supervisor Doug Davis,
oh yeah, it does.
The news hits hard.
Been doing it for 24 years, and then I've been around road construction all my life.
While Davis was not involved in this incident at all, he understands the real dangers of working on the road and warns all drivers.
It's not going to hurt to slow down and take a few extra minutes to get to where you're going, because those few extra minutes could mean like a worker's life.
So as this construction zone sits idle, DPD hopes it's a stark reminder when things pick back up, drivers should still slow down.
Be aware of the construction zone and also be aware of the construction workers.
Jaleesa Irizarry, 9 News.
The surviving victim has yet to be identified. Segoski did have a blood test taken, but according to police, those results are still pending. She's being held on a $25,000 bond. Today we learned the name of the 6-year-old girl who died on a ride at the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park. The Garfield County Coroner's Office has identified her as Wangel Estefanos. She died on the Haunted Mine Drop, this ride on Sunday. Investigators say the ride passed state inspections every year since it opened in 2017, including this year, just 3 months before this deadly accident.
The city of Loveland will pay $3 million to settle a lawsuit filed on behalf of Karen Garner. She is the 73-year-old woman with dementia forced to the ground and arrested by Loveland police officers after she was accused of shoplifting. 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow joins us live outside the Loveland Police headquarters. And Matt, Garner's family said today this settlement is a lot more about things than money.
They sure did, Kim. Specifically, they said the settlement, they're hoping, sends a loud and clear message that major changes must be made here at the Loveland Police Department.
She has good days and bad days, just like anybody with dementia.
Karen Garner's family says justice delayed was not justice denied.
This is justice for my mom. I'm going home.
14 months after Loveland police officer Austin Hopp took Garner to the ground and handcuffed her behind her back, breaking her arm and dislocating her shoulder, the city of Loveland has agreed to pay $3 million to settle a lawsuit filed by her family.
This incident shocked us by exposing us to the lowest form of human behavior and indecency.
At a news conference directly in front of Loveland Police headquarters, Garner's family said her dementia has gotten significantly worse since the incident last year, and that the money from the settlement will be used for her medical care.
Taking care of her day-to-day living, that's our only focus with Karen.
Her daughter-in-law told reporters that Garner was not aware of the settlement.
Karen has spoken nothing about this incident since the morning after, where she repeatedly said, "Why did they do this to me and why did they hurt me?"
Garner's family and her attorney also spoke today about the importance of the settlement beyond the money.
We need change. We need them to change.
About the need for major reform in the Loveland Police Department, starting with a change in leadership.
Those in power in Loveland have created a culture of police officers who have no respect, no care, no compassion.
And they're hoping that this settlement helps bring all that about.
I'm hoping that this dollar amount makes them realize that they do need to make changes in that department and that we're not messing around.
For his part, Loveland Police Chief Robert Tyser said he has no plans to resign.
I do not.
But agrees that his department needs to change and improve.
There's no excuse under any circumstances for what happened to Ms. Garner. We have agreed on steps we need to take to begin building back trust.
Now, former Loveland police officer Austin Hopp has been charged with assault in the case. His trial is expected to begin early next year. Kim?
And Matt, I know you've reported in the past there is some training changes that have been made, especially for officers dealing with people that might be suffering some kind of a dementia, problems with dementia or mental health issues.
That's right, Kim. Loveland has begun implementing changes to their training as far as dementia and Alzheimer's patients, contact between officers and those patients. They've also, according to Chief Tyser, today said that their use of force policy has been improved and changed.
All right, thank you, Matt. Just as the train goes by, thank you so much. The 19-year-old who was suffering a mental health crisis when he was shot by Loveland police last month has died. After weeks in the hospital and several surgeries, Alex Domino was taken off a ventilator yesterday. His family says his grandma called police for help. When police arrived, they say Alex grabbed a knife because he was scared. Officers asked him to put the knife down, but he moved forward, and that's when they fired shots. The lawyer for the Domino family said today it shows where police training is lacking.
I think what this case really highlights is the fact that there needs to be more specialized mental health related training for first responders. Certainly officers don't have the right training to respond to mental health crises, and we see this time and time again.
The officer involved is on paid administrative leave during the investigation. That's per department policy.
There's a new team in Aurora responding to certain 911 calls. The goal with this is to help people experiencing a mental health crisis.
The Aurora Mobile Response Team launched today. 9 News reporter Noel Brennan spoke to the team's manager about the impact they hope to make in Aurora.
Sorting through traffic of emergency calls in Aurora.
Not every call needs law enforcement.
Courtney Tossan sees value in sending out the van.
I think it just felt like the right time to implement something like this.
The real value are the people inside who make up the new Aurora Mobile Response Team.
It is a program that utilizes a paramedic and a licensed mental health professional, and it provides an alternative response to those active, low-intensity behavioral health calls that come through the City of Aurora Dispatch.
Tossan is in charge of the 6-month pilot program for Northwest Aurora.
I think the program really came about with the 2020 unrest that we saw. Having a mental illness isn't a crime, and I think it's just an amazing way to reach people and meet them where they're at.
Aurora police already pair some officers with mental health professionals, and this new team will help ease their call load.
Taking those low-intensity calls off of them, I think benefits everyone.
Tossan hopes one van is just the beginning.
Ideally, maybe it would be more, and we'll have to evaluate after this pilot program to look at what that call volume really looks like.
The team is ready to sort through the traffic and find a way to help.
Going out there to connect people to as many resources and providing as much emotional support as they can.
Noel Brennan, 9 News.
Aurora's mobile response team is modeled after Denver's STAR program, which sends a paramedic and mental health professional in place of a police officer to certain 911 calls. The STAR program is looking to expand this year.
Turning to the fight against COVID-19, Colorado's health leaders said today when it comes to hospitalizations, this is the second worst surge our state has ever seen. Hospitalizations peaked back in January before vaccines were widely available. With more than 1,800 patients being treated for COVID, right now nearly 900 patients are in the hospital with COVID-19. State epidemiologist Dr. Rachel Herlihy said today we haven't seen numbers like this since January when Colorado was coming down from that peak.
We, of course, continue to see that most of the transmission, most of the hospitalization is really occurring among our unvaccinated population. And that's certainly true in this data, the hospitalization data that you're looking at now.
Health officials said today vaccination rates have been increasing since July. Just under 75% of eligible Coloradans have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. That's about 63% of all Coloradans when you include those too young to be vaccinated just yet. Today, the state also announced they're beginning to provide data on breakthrough cases. Those are those cases of how many people in Colorado have tested positive despite being fully vaccinated. There's a 2-week lag on that data. President Biden is set to address the nation tomorrow on COVID-19. The White House is ready to roll out a 6-point plan to combat the Delta variant as it continues to spread across the country. The president's plan includes doubling down on public-private partnerships to get more people vaccinated, especially those 40 and under who are lagging behind. He's also expected to address plans for booster shots, and he's under pressure to offer more guidance for schools with thousands of students back in the classroom before many are even eligible for vaccination. The American Academy of Pediatrics says cases among kids are rising. More than 250,000 children testing positive just last week alone, and that's more than a quarter of all new cases nationwide.